Hey everybody, in today's video I'm going to show you how you can count words in Excel. So in front of me I've got a column that has a list of article names, so I pulled this from CNBC, and I'm going to show you a couple ways where you can count the number of words in each of these cells. So one way will be if you're on a newer version of Excel, Office 365, and you have access to the text split function, and another way will be if you don't have that function and have to use a combination approach. So I'll start with the text split function, and how it works is it's pretty simple in that it's going to take, really we just need two arguments in here. One is the actual text value, and then the next argument is the delimiter. So when we're looking at words, the one thing we're going to look for are the spaces. So that's what we're going to use as the delimiter. So to separate it by space, we're just going to put one quote, space, another quote, then close that out. What it's going to do is going to separate this into, obviously, individual words. Now, the problem is this is not what I want. Obviously, I don't want it to put it into an array. What I want to do is count this. So to do that, I'm just going to put the count a function before this. Close that. So what it's going to do is first it's going to create this array, but it's not going to actually produce it into here. It's not going to spit it out into these into these different cells. Instead, it's going to count them. And the count a function, how it works, is going to count every instance, every non-blank value. So I hit enter. We've got 18 words. So what I can do is go to formula, evaluate formula, to just show you how this works. So using that split function, the text split function, and so it's going through that string, and now each one of those words now is a separate value. So the count a now is going through these, and obviously these are not blank values; they're all going to contain a string. So it's going to count that there are 18 words in there. Right. So an easy way to test this out, rather than counting this, I can just type in the word one. Right, it gives me one. Now the one thing you may want to adjust for is if there's a blank value, because right now it's still going to produce a value of 1. So what we can do here is add an if function at the beginning. Say, okay, if a2 is blank, then blank, otherwise do the rest of that formula. And so now we've got rid of that issue. So let's say I write the word 1. So we've got 1, 2 words, got 2. So it is calculating properly. And I can copy this all the way down, and it's going to give me the correct number of words using text split. So that is the method if you're using Office 365, Microsoft 365, and have the latest version of Excel. Now, if, however, you do not have the text split function available, there is another way around this, and this is using two functions, len, which gives you the length of a string, and the substitute function. And we'll use that to swap out the blanks. And basically what we're going to do here is compare the length of this string versus the length of it when we remove any spaces. So I'll start with just creating a len function here. Let's say the length of this, that's how many characters it's long. And now we'll do a length function with no spaces. And so what I'm going to do here is first use the substitute function. And what the substitute function does is it takes that text, and we're going to select the old text. So this is the text we want to get rid of, which is anything with a space. And the new text we want to replace that space with just 2 quotes. And now get rid of any blanks. So you see now 2 words, that space is gone. So that's what it produces. So now I'm going to use the len function, put that within there, and now it's going to tell me that there are, when we take out the spaces, there are 8 characters. So now we can take the difference between these two. So 9 minus the 8. So there's only 1. So the problem is it's not capturing this first word. So if I just put 1 in here, it's going to give me 0 because it's not finding any spaces. So obviously that's a problem. So if I go back to enter 2 words in here, what I need to do is just add a 1 to this formula. So what I'm going to do is going to group these all together into one formula here. So I'm going to call this len and substitute. And so this is a good way of creating complex compound formulas when you need to put everything together. So we've got that len function. We're going to combine it with this one. So we still have the 1. Now we're going to add 1 at the end. So now it's giving us 2 words. So the same as this text split function. So I'm going to hide these columns because they're not needed anymore. So we've got the len and substitute function. If I change it to 1, still got 1, so everything works fine. Now if I delete it, I still have 1. So I still need to add that if statement at the beginning to say, okay, if a2 is equal to blank, then blank. Otherwise, do the rest of that formula. So now it's clear. So now 1, 2 words. All right, now I can copy this down, and you'll see I've got the same results whether I'm using text split or a combination of len and substitute. Now, if you are using Google Sheets, you can do the same thing as this text split function. On Google Sheets, it's just called split, but it works the same way. You select your text, you select the delimiter, and it works in the exact same way. So if you've got the text split function, this is going to be a much easier way to do it. If you don't have it, then you can use a combination of the len and substitute functions. The key there is you want to count the length of the text and then compare it with the length of the text after you remove the spaces. And then you'll just need to add +1 after that to factor in for the fact that the first word is not going to be captured because obviously there's not a space preceding the first word. So that's how you can count words in Excel and also Google Sheets. Hope you found this useful, and thanks for watching.